This is the Relationship Capital Podcast, where we talk to the top thought leaders and practitioners from around the world about how to grow your most valuable resource, your network. I'm your host, Adrian Chenault, and Relationship Capital is brought to you by your friends at Contact Mapping, the #1 app for building your network. Hey everyone, it's Adrian Chenault, and I am having the distinct pleasure of getting to hang out today with Chuck and Tammi Gates. They are longtime network marketers who've had a huge amount of success, not only in the US, but all over the world. And so it's just great to get to learn from them and for you guys to share your wisdom. So thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Great hanging out with you.
Privileged to be here with you.
Good. All right, well, let's jump right into it. So what we're putting together is an ebook that is showing people how to use relationships, how to develop relationships in the right way to grow their business. So thinking about somebody who's newer to network marketing or who maybe just hasn't had a lot of success just yet, what would you say is the most important thing to do for you to develop relationships that are going to serve your business?
Well, certainly being yourself and being natural and not coming across that you need the relationship in order to serve yourself. Chuck is one of the best I know. He can meet someone at the gas station, in the grocery store line, and he is just natural and generous and helpful and kind. He'll fix someone's collar and just start in talking with them. And so being yourself.
Yeah.
I think we're here at a conference, and it's been said before, but it really is the old saying, and Big Al Schreider started it years ago or used it, but it's "If I, would you?"
Yep.
And it's really hard to go out into the public or be somewhere and not see somebody that doesn't have a challenge that's evident. Whether and maybe it's they're limping, maybe and you don't want to really pry into people's lives, but maybe it's a young person that's having really problem skin conditions, and it's just that thing. If I knew of something that could help you with that, would you?
Yep.
Would you be open?
Yep.
And so I think it is about opening your heart and letting yourself down to just and not trying to sell somebody, but offering yourself that if I had something that could help you with that condition, or and it may be a financial thing too, that if I knew of something that could help you conquer that, would you?
Yeah, I think that permission thing is really, it's powerful because it enables you to proceed in the conversation in a way that you might not be able to otherwise because you're trying to kind of gauge their interest. But if you actually if you step through those gates, so to speak, no pun intended, and get permission along the way, that actually gives you more power to be a little bit more bold and to be a little bit more clear about what you're doing, and I think that can be really powerful.
Right.
Yeah. And so what about you, as you're learning people's stories and discovering some of those areas in their life where maybe they need some help or where you might be able to offer some assistance, what are your tips about how to help somebody to connect to what it is that you're sharing with them?
I always like to start any conversation with a stranger on the phone or in the back of a Uber or in line at the airport with, "Hey, I'm from Montana, where are you from?"
Yeah.
And it just tells them a little bit about me.
Yep.
I mean, instantly people make a connection with Montana, cowboys, rural, and then it's easy for them to say, "Oh, wow, I'm from Colorado, but my brother used to live in Montana," or something.
Yeah.
So it just kicks it rolling.
Yeah, I think there it's just more of making yourself showing that you're interested rather than trying to be interesting.
Yes.
And just finding that I noticed this about you or whatever. It's a way to start a conversation. I couldn't help but noticing the way you carried yourself.
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking what you do for a living?
Yeah.
And
You use that phrase a lot. I couldn't help but notice.
That's a good one.
I do, because literally you know, they say you can't judge a book by its cover.
Yep.
However, if you read the preface, you get a pretty good idea what the book's about.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you can just kind of see on the outside, man, I can just feel that that person could do really well at this.
Right.
And in this industry, I like to say, you know, we get paid for being professional headhunters.
Yep.
You know, and there's of course corporations that do nothing but that,
Right.
looking for the right person for the job. And so I've used that with people and just said, I can't help but want to know, do you mind I ask what you do?
Yeah.
And I've had people say, I can't believe you're asking this. I just decided today I'm going to tell my boss to piss a rope. You know, I'm fed up.
Yeah.
Where would I send my resume? And they don't even know what I do
Yeah.
yet, and they're wanting to give me a resume, and that starts up a whole conversation. You know, well, what is it that you're in? Well, we work in home-based business. You know,
Yeah.
we work in alternative health, and so it's just, those are the types of things that just open doors. You know, but it's about looking with your eyes, being observant, and not being afraid to approach somebody.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that happens is you make a friend.
Right.
You swap business cards or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think that's totally right, and it's so true that I think being observant without being assumptive, that you know you can use that power of observation to start the conversation, and you can even say, hey, I noticed this about you,
Yeah.
but you're not just saying, you know, I noticed you have an obesity problem. You know, like you're not going
Yeah.
there. You're learning what they're really about. You're just kind of using that as the tip of the spear to open up that conversation.
Yeah,
That's
and
powerful.
it may be because you can really relate.
Yeah.
That, like I say, nobody really wants to go out there and see some poor kid that's dealing with acne and
Yeah.
say, man, you know, you don't look good or whatever, but
Right.
at the same time, it's a whole nother thing, and being able to go up to that kid and say, when I was your age, I dealt with the same issue.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I've really got a heart because I've been there.
Yeah.
And I found something, if I'd have had it when I was your age,
Yeah.
it would have really changed a lot of my young adult life. And
Yeah.
you know, so if I knew of something, would you again? It's
Yeah.
the same thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you guys have been in this profession for a number of years now. You know, what are the things that you think have held true over the entirety of your career in network marketing, and what are some of the new things that you think are shifting these days?
Well, what's held true is relationships,
Yeah.
making contact, getting info to the people, whether that it's a tool. What's changed when I started in this industry, if you wanted to get information to somebody, you picked up the phone and called them on a landline, not
Yeah.
a cell phone.
Yeah.
There was no texting, there was no computers, you know. It was, you know, go type, go get copies, stick them in the mail,
Yeah.
dub tapes, VHS tapes back in the day, and ship them and mail them. And if it was going out of the country, you know, it took time for them to even get there. What's changed is, of course, now at the touch of a button, you can be live right in front of them on Zoom or Skype, and that communication, and they can not only read the information,
Yeah.
you can speak the information, and they can see the whites of your eyes, and that makes
Yeah.
a big difference for people. And so the time and the technology has just changed this, making of all, you know, this is the time to be in network marketing. Never has there been a history in time when we've had so many avenues and tools and technology to allow us to really build.
Well, and that technology has really shrunk our world.
Yes.
Just walking over here, I got a text from LinkedIn from a man I've never met in the Philippines wanting me to orient him to our company and what we do.
Yeah.
And that could have never
Incredible.
happened,
Yeah.
even 5 years ago.
Yep.
You know, it's, I think that technology and social media is the network marketer's best friend.
Yeah.
And it, you know, even a couple of years ago or a year ago, a lot of people thought spending time on social media was a waste of time,
Right.
and that you did it when you just needed to check out.
Right.
and scroll through the news feed and
Right.
things like that. But now it's such a powerful tool
Yes.
that it really is changing the face of the network marketing industry.
Totally agree. So Tammi, you guys are a powerhouse couple. You guys have done this together.
Yeah.
You know, what is working this business together? What has it allowed you to do, and how does it work between the two of you?
I coach couples, married couples who are working their business together a lot. And the number one thing or conflict that happens between married couples is one of them will assume that the other one needs to work the business exactly like they are working it.
Right.
And then the accusation starts, or the offense happens. Well, they're not doing this.
Right.
They're not talking to enough people. You know, she's not prospecting, he's not following up. But we like to team up and work in our strengths.
Yep.
And so we like to say, he finds them and I'll wind them.
Nice.
Because it's so easy for him to meet people.
Yeah.
And then he'll come home with a piece of paper with a number on the back of it, and it's up to me to begin to funnel them information, and because it's more comfortable for me to work that way.
Yeah.
That's
And if you're asking me to send out emails and all of this stuff electronically, I mean, you're a whiz kid, I know that, but she's the queen, you know.
Yeah.
And so it could take what I would just mess it up every time trying to get that info
Yeah.
out, and she does so much better. But then again, I think both of us, but you know, we do of course a lot of three-way phone calls.
Yeah.
You know, because we believe that, you know, you need to support your people, and your people, what you're really doing is when you're doing that, you're literally training them so that they can duplicate and do the same thing for their people down
Yep.
below.
Yep.
And you don't limit it just to how far down is somebody or how close is it that I work with you.
Right.
It's the whole organization, just like she said. She
Yep.
just got a text from somebody out of the Philippines. So, you know, I don't know whose group that is down underneath us, but
Yeah.
of course, we're gonna work with that person no matter where they're at and how far down.
So cool.
And so those calls, that kind of communication is really important.
Well, thank you guys so much. Any last thoughts you want to share for our audience of people who are trying to use relationships to grow their business, and just any final wisdom you want to share?
For me, I think just that this is an incredible industry. The timing is absolutely, I really don't care what company you're with.
Yep.
There is the good, bad, and the ugly, of course, and there has been in the past. But companies are getting that's raised, the industry's raised.
Yeah.
And so most companies, if they're in business and they've been in business for very long, they've really got good products. They've had to go through a threshold
Yeah.
to achieve, to stay there and even get there. So, and as far as the timing, it's the time to run. I believe, like we were just talking about technology, how fast it's moving, and communication. And it's all about communication and building relationship. And so it's so much easier to do that today than it was years ago.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect fit, as they would say, it's the perfect storm.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both so much. It's really fun to have you
Yeah.
on here, and thanks for sharing some wisdom.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely.
Thank you, Adrian.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks.